ladies and gentlemen. I hope everyone is fine and healthy. I'm Soma from PC Quest. PC Quest is a cyber media publication, and this year we are celebrating its 35th year. Now, I would like to welcome you all to our live interactive session today, where we will discuss how media and advertising businesses can navigate their data challenges with Media Data Cloud. Before I introduce you to our guests today, let me give you a quick primer on today's topic. So changing customer behavior and expectation, especially among younger generation who demand instant access to content anytime, anywhere, has caused massive transformation of the media, entertainment, and advertising industry. Now, as the media industry continues to adapt to the changing habits of the consumers, there have been a number of significant changes in the consumer behavior that the industry has witnessed in the last 20 years. So let me give you a few examples. So in 1999 appeared Napster, which changed the way we consume music forever. And by the early 2000s, file sharing changed the way people want to consume content altogether. Then came the mobile, social and cloud, which changed the consumer's expectation drastically by making it possible to consume media, content, books, anytime, anywhere, and also on the device or platform they choose. Now, thanks to this new set of digitally connected consumers, media companies now have access to an ever-expanding pool of data, which presents an opportunity to better understand each individual's unique consumption habit and preferences and engage with them in a more contextual and personalized manner. So what is next? The next wave of transformation is likely to be the Internet of Things, an always connected world which will shape consumer behavior and expectation further and open up new opportunities for the media, entertainment, and advertising industry. While there's unique insights about this new set of digitally connected consumers definitely open up new growth opportunities for media companies to capitalize on, there are other hurdles too in terms of complying with consumer privacy regulations. In order to become truly data-driven, they need a platform to solve their data challenges and help them to carve a truly engaging experience for their customers. Now, to discuss all these challenges faced by the media and advertising industry and also the new growth opportunities created by data alone, today we have with us Vimal Venkatram, Managing Director of Snowflake India, and Navneet Srivastava, Senior Sales Engineer at Snowflake India. Let me introduce you to Navneet first. So Navneet is a cloud data platform expert in Snowflake, helping organizations to turn their data into actionable insights. Navneet will take us through Snowflake Media Data Cloud, which is a unique cloud offering by Snowflake, keeping the media and advertising companies' data-related challenges in mind. So I will just, hand over this to Navneet. Over to you, Navneet.
Thanks, Soma. Thanks for a wonderful introduction and welcome all for this webinar. Let me know once you are able to see my screen. Shoma, is it visible?
We can see the screen.
Okay,
you can
thanks.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So here I'm going to present you that what is Snowflake Cloud Data Platform and how it can help you through its Media Data Cloud. So Snowflake Cloud Data Platform is a platform where you can connect all type of your data within organization, with your partners, or maybe a third-party data to serve your business case. Before going to that, basis on our interaction with the various media and OTT players worldwide, a few things that we got as a part of recent disruptions, and I'm sure that you are quite aware of that. So first of all, those third-party cookies are no more relevant. We'll have to rely on the first-party data. And at the same time, a lot of consumer data privacy rules and regulations are coming. We have heard that Indian government also going to introduce some of the data localization and other stringent norms. And with that, with lot of OTTs and streaming platforms, now we are getting a lot of customer actions available in our system. There is explosion of data to understand the behavior pattern of our customers. But unfortunately, what happens that our existing data platform still works on the legacy methodologies, which means that I'll take the data, our first party data, move it to some system, do some data enrichment, then again take a copy of that, move it to another system to do my campaign planning, make the subsegment to match the audience, and then move it again to another data system that to make the attribution, campaign scheduling, and other things. And once I make the campaign, uh, whether the end target customers have adopted or not, I'll have to collect all those feedback in another system. So what happens here that I keep on hopping the data to multiple systems. Now, as an owner of data, I need to ensure that while making the data copy, where is my single version of truth, how to maintain that, how to maintain various copies of my data. And uh, instead of, so what happens that instead of serving the business purpose, I end up doing data reconciliation, maintaining the single version of truth, and various other things. Maybe with some highly skilled resources, I can do that, but somewhere we lose the agility. And in your industries, agility is the key to understand the customer dynamics, to respond it at the right time with the right offering is the key. If we lose that, if we are not able to do that, it's simple that we are losing the business. So on the Snowflake, we have done it in a very simple way. We don't move the data. We don't make the multiple copies of data. There is a single version of truth at one place where you can apply all your business logics and enrich those data, do all your campaign planning, executions, and post execution. You can do those ROI analysis also. And here on the same Snowflake platform, you can invite your partners as a data consumers, where you can protect your PII data. At the same time, you can collaborate with your consumers by giving them a restricted access. So using this, you can create a kind of very comprehensive platform on the top of Snowflake, where you as a media owner can collaborate with the brands with the help of those ad agencies and third-party data enrichment organizations, and build a common platform and share all your data, collaborate to serve the business purpose. And when I say share your data, at the same time, you can protect your PII, customers' PII data also. So using this, most of our customers worldwide had enabled a lot of business initiatives. First, they have created the Customer 360, and on the top of those Customer 360, they are able to do segmentations, identify what is my product and what is the right match for that customers, and vice versa. What is the customer segment, and for to suit that customer segment, what could be the best product or best bundle offer that I can give it to them. And this helps them to monetize their data. This helps them to increase their revenue, save their cost, and many other things. Uh, to name a few logos worldwide, uh, we have collaborated with NBC Universal, where they have created Audience Inside Hub on the top of Snowflake platform. They created the data clean room, and what they have done that they extended this Audience Inside Hub to their partners also, where they can do their digital audience exploration. At the same time, their partners can do the cross-platform planning, and then attribution, measurements, and post campaign. They can analyze the ROI on the same platform. Same way, Disney Ad Sales, which is a kind of ad sales and integrated marketing arm of Walt Disney. Walt Disney has a lot of sports and entertainment offering on digital platforms like social media or ad-supported streaming platforms. So digital ad sales, Disney ad sales help them to monetize their insights, their on the Snowflake platform. They offer their partners to join together, come up with a joint business strategy approach to the customers with the right set of offering at the right time. Same way Hulu. Hulu is basically have done partnership with the ESPN and Disney, where they have they using Snowflake. They understood what is their common customer segment, what is the best bundled offer that they can create together and offer it to their end customer using the insights from the Snowflake. And same way Pluto TV, they have their very diversified data across their organization. So on the top of Snowflake, which gives them a platform where their entire organization-wide different teams, different functions, departments come together and get the benefit of the data and insights. These are few logos that I can show it in the single slide. However, you can go to Snowflake site and get a lot of other case studies and others. And definitely we would like to see your logo also in this same slide, maybe a couple of months later. So how we do that? What is the secret sauce behind that? So before that, let's understand when we talk about customer insight, when we talk about PII data, we are talk about customer engagement. What are the key things that we should consider from our data platform? First of all, security, that should not get compromised. Snowflake provides all those secured functions so that without getting the PII data of your customers, you can still get the insights. You can restrict the queries to prevent the re-identification and protect against any kind of attack or any kind of those pattern that defines the attack. You can do the data masking. Maybe there are some PII data that may be required for your say customer centers, but may not be required for your partners or outside of your organization. There, basis on the role, basis on the user profile, you can do the data masking. So PII data like date of birth, credit card information, and other things, you can mask it. And with this, you can share your data, you can collaborate others, but without compromising the security. So this is the ask from the security perspective. At the same time, you need the flexibility and agility in your platform. It should support across region. It shouldn't be restricted or bind with a single cloud platform. And at the same time, it should give you flexibility, gives you compute power or the resources when you actually need it. So with this kind of security and other architectural principle, we have a Snowflake data platform for you, where we support a lot of functionalities. We support all modern data pipelines so that all your streaming data as well as your batch data get ingested into Snowflake. Here you can get your tabular or structured data. At the same time, you can get your clickstream data, which comes at 24/7 basis, any type of data. And now, even if you have an image or PDF kind of data, which categorized as unstructured data, that also you can ingest it into Snowflake. You can build your own data lake, define your own business logic data model, and get your dashboards. And when it comes to customer behavior pattern, you need some sophisticated machine learning platform also. The Snowflake supports all modern machine learning platform. Even now, we can support those functional languages like Java, Scala, or Python also, so that you can train your model, understand customer behavior pattern, and get your enriched data within Snowflake. And with this, you can create your own applications, which could be your mobile app, which could be your web portal, and you just focus on your business rule and leave the data and the infrastructure related worries to Snowflake to manage. With all this, you have your data across various sources. You have enriched that data using data science and BI kind of tools. And once you have those enriched data, you can now share it with your partners and others but at the same time without compromising your security. So when we talk about sharing the data, if we talk about any traditional system, then you'll have to do a lot of uh, operational overhead, like you'll have to manage those FTPs, you'll have to do emails, manage those APIs and other things, schedule it. If schedule fails, then do some manual overheads. So this causes a lot of gaps when it comes to agility. While in Snowflake, you are taking all these worries away from your solution. You just focus on the business outcome and leave all these uh, 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 data movement and other things to Snowflake. Here, you don't have to maintain any schedule. You don't have to worry about those ETL and FTP kind of thing. Everything managed by Snowflake for you. So once you have a Snowflake account available for your customers' insights and those campaign management, you can get the data, various third-party data from the Snowflake marketplace. You can consume it, or if you have some insights that you want to share it with others, you can also place your data in Snowflake marketplace so that other can get benefit out of that. You have your own data, you have a third-party data through marketplace. Using that, you can enrich your customer insights, and that you can share with others also. If they have a Snowflake account, they can get it. If they don't have, you can create a reader account so that they get benefited of that. And if you have a set of your partners with whom you want to do a lot of data sharing, you can create your own data exchange so that you don't have to do one-to-one mapping of your data with your partners. So we understand that what is the data sharing, what is the key capability of data sharing on the top of Snowflake platform. Using that, we have created a data clean room, which is a kind of a very secured way of sharing your data. So let's understand in this way that I have a data, I have my customers' data, their PII's data. At the same time, my partner, who is a kind of a brand or an advertisers, they also have their customers' data sets with their own PII's data. So when we want to collaborate, we want to take the benefit of the customer insights that we have, but at the same time, we do not want to expose the PII's data. So here to help you out, the data clean room comes into the picture, which is a very secured, easy, and powerful way of collaborating with your partners. So if I talk in the technical terminologies, it is a kind of double blind joins, which means that I will not be able to see my partner's data. At the same time, partners will also not able to see my my sensitive and personal data, yet we can join it, we can collaborate it using restricted queries. So with this, let's understand how different stakeholders can get benefited out of that. So as a media owner, I can drive more monetizations using my first party data and matching it with the other stakeholders. That could be my advertisers. So those advertisers can also come up with their first party data. They enrich those data set and find the right target audience for the given campaign. And with this, once the campaign is run, the campaign logs gets generated across various systems. They can collect it, and then on the top of that, they can understand that how their ad performance are going on, what is the acceptance, and other things. All these things can be done on a Snowflake, which is a very simple, integrated, and scalable solution. How it happens in the data clean room? So first thing happens is the audience matching. So if any advertisers comes to you with the first party data, they can cross join with the data that is available with you without moving the data. And once I identify those audience, I can segment them. I can identify, okay, this is my product and this is the right match, this is the right segment for the target. I can do all those evaluation plan my campaign. And once I run the campaign, I can post campaign, I can do ROI analysis and other things. So for all this kind of operation, data is not moving out of my secured platform. Now, we have talked enough, shown you enough slides. Now we'll give you some demo that how we do that. So before giving demo, let me give you background of the demo. So here we have assumed one of the sport brand that wants to do the campaign during a weekly sports show. So here I need to identify what is the right set, what is the audience where I should publish my campaign. So one way is that broadcast your campaign to all millions of customers, but then it's not personalized, it's not customized. So idea of campaign is that identify your target customer segment and then find out that what product or what bundled offer would be most suitable for them, and then offer it so that customer also feel that yes, this is highly customized and very contextual message for me. So for this, we have a sports brand which has the current approximately 4.7 million customer base. My subscribers have kind of which is on the media platform, roughly around 5.7 million customer base. So here, what we will do that we'll make a join. So here, my advertiser has a customer data with their own personal and sensitive data. At the same time, my publisher, which is kind of a OTT or media player, which has their own customer base with their own personal and sensitive data. So now my advertiser wants to, here is the sports brand, wants to identify that who are all sports lovers are there on this OTT media player. For that, in the data clean room, I will not allow to access this customer data directly. It will be done through secured function where as an advertiser, I don't have access to that PII data. I don't have access to those logic with which it will get available. So all that they have to do is that fire a query, get the result. And once they have those target audience, they can do their planning and other things and then share it back to my media player to broadcast or do the campaign for that particular campaign ID. Once the campaign is run, now result has to be shared. Now again, those results will get shared through secured manner. There are various ways with which Snowflake can share those results. So with this, we will find out that what is the overlap, what is the common segment where I can publish my campaign. So now let's see how this can happen. So here is the tool. At the backend, Snowflake is processing all those queries. So here I can take one of the scenarios where I have taken a lot of parameters, which is either available to a sports brand as an advertiser or the publisher who is OTT or media owner. So here I can define how to plan my campaign, what are all the key attributes that I want to be there in my plan. And if I see what is getting executed at the backend, so you'll find that nothing PII or nothing personal or sensitive data is getting exposed here. It's all happened through secured channel. So I, as a campaign planner, won't be able to identify that for this customer, this is the details. What happens when we make a join? It's completely encrypted. So it is kind of hashed email, which I cannot decrypt. So, but what it does that it makes the join between a publisher and an advertiser. So here I have created a campaign plan. Now I want to run this. Once I run this, I can go and see the result. So here I had a 4.5 million customer base. Out of them, 4.2, roughly 95% customers got matched. Now I want to do further, before launching the campaign, I want to do some further analysis, and maybe I want to narrow it down. So right now what I see that roughly 4.2 million customers have been identified. But here, I want to sell a sport. I am a sports brand. So instead of a cooking show, instead of reality show, I would prefer to publish my ad on a sports event. Quickly, I'll identify the sports event, which is on the publisher side. And at the same time, I have a shoes. And I know that those who love the sport, for the runners, there is a different shoes. For the footballer, there is a different shoes. I have a very specialized product, which is a runner shoes. So I'll just select those who are kind of runners who come to my brand to inquire about the running shoes. So I quickly identify that. I know that runners are coming for my shoes. So you can see that the moment I further micro segment that, I identify that it's not the 4 million that I'll have to target. It's roughly 43,000. And if I just want that, I want to target only the young generation in the age bracket of 18 to 24. So the more criteria I give now, instead of broadcasting the message to 4 million, I identified that for my running shoes, for young generation, these are the roughly 21,000 customers who are matching my profile. So instead of broadcasting, I'll send a highly customized offer for them. So this way, I can do pre-campaign analysis. I can modify and further tweak my campaign. And once I launch my campaign, maybe after some time, I can do the post-campaign analysis, for example, to how many customers I have sent, how many got accepted, and what is the channel with which they have accepted, what is the channel affinity, and other things will come into the picture. So with this, we can run the entire campaign life cycle without touching the personal and sensitive data. And those personal and sensitive data could be within my system or could be with my partner's ecosystem. But when we talk about Snowflake, it's all available to me to serve my business purpose. So with this, I'll just conclude with the final summary that what we offer on the Snowflake, we gives you a scalability and performance. You get the resource when you actually need it. And when you don't need it, you can simply shut it down. It could be possible that during festivals, during New Year's, or during IPL or any particular event, you may require a lot of campaigns, a lot of interactions. We will give you kind of practically unlimited resources for that point of time. And once your work is done, you can simply shut it down. And at the same time, as I have shown it earlier, there is no data movement. All the data on the same platform, so that you don't have to worry that what data is going out, whether it is a PII data, sensitive data. You don't have to worry all about that. And obviously, we are, when we are talking about customers, we are talking about exponential data. We are talking about a lot of behavior pattern and other things. You may require very sophisticated machine learning algorithms and tools. We support all those things. And last but not least, it's all transparent. Whatever you are doing activities, whatever your users are doing, everything gets logged and it is available to you for your audit and for any other purpose. With this, I'll just conclude my presentation. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Navneet. Thank you for taking us through the solutions in detail. Now, before we proceed to the next part of our agenda today, which is a fireside chat with Mr. Vimal Venkatram, we have a quick poll now for the attendees. The poll will appear on your screen. Okay, so let's move on to the next part of our agenda today. I would like to welcome Mr. Vimal Venkatram, Managing Director of Snowflake India. Welcome, Vimal, to the Dataquest webinar today. Thank you for taking time out.
Thank you so much, Soma. Thanks for having me.
I'll just give a quick intro of Vimal. Now, Vimal has a wealth of experience around data management solutions across retail, manufacturing, and financial services, and he has a deep regional experience, especially in India and Southeast Asia. So let us begin our conversation today with the trends and transformation that you are seeing in the media, entertainment, and advertising industry. underpinned by data?
Great question, Suma. And once again, a fantastic question that a lot of our customers are asking us today. I think if you look at the media industry, it's undergoing significant change today from a number of long-standing trends, some of which have been accelerated as a result of the unfortunate, pandemic that's going on. I think what we're seeing at the height of it is the online disruption, especially with the OTT players. The disruption from online and digital content, especially from over-the-top platforms like Netflix or Hulu, for example, is causing, people are becoming cord cutters. They're cutting the cord among subscribers who are literally churning off traditional media like TV or broadcast television. The incumbents are rapidly developing their own video on demand services, and there's already over 300 services available in the market. In the second phase, I think what we're also seeing is a lot of pressure on measuring advertising outcomes. This online disruption has also caused, a proliferation of data that can be used to better target customers, deliver more personalized engagements, measure the impact of sales, for example, which is also known as attribution. As a result of that, advertisers, brands, and media companies today all need to demonstrate higher performance in order to retain and grow their business. And finally, I think we talk about third-party cookie removal from the ecosystem. I think Navneet explained that brilliantly with data clean rooms in Snowflake. Today, as businesses hunt for data to better, demonstrate business outcomes, internet giants like Facebook, Amazon, Google have created ecosystems of their own with loads of customer data for advertisers and brands to leverage. But in using these services, they're often called walled gardens, where they create walls around that. Advertisers and brands are restricted in their ability to access this granular data or merge it with their own sources. And obviously, additionally, due to privacy concerns, there is an incentive for large tech companies to maintain this exclusive access of first-party consumer data. The market is ridding itself of third-party cookies, which was the traditional approach to create a single customer identity with disparate data sets. I think today, without third-party cookies or access to the underlying data within walled gardens, businesses today absolutely need to collaborate and share data with one another.
Yeah, I have, different kind of questions for you because after Navneet's presentation and the way you mentioned about trends and, transformation that media and entertainment and advertising industry is going through. But I will also ask our attendees to, type in their individual queries. They can type. Yeah, attendees, you can type your queries in the chat box. We will try to take those queries after, our conversation. Vimal, again, now, so as you were mentioning about the data challenges that media and entertainment and advertising industry is facing today. There are several, kind of hurdles we have seen. So when it comes to leveraging data capabilities for their data-related requirements, the biggest one probably are being the security concerns as well as the increased compliance and governance standards across geographies. So how does Snowflake as a cloud data platform simplify those challenges?
Great question, Soma. We get asked this question by many, many customers across various industries, whether financial services, retail, manufacturing, even digital native companies, or even governments for that matter. I think today, if you look at it, Snowflake changes the approach to governance and security completely. Our solution was designed from the grounds up with security at the center of it. It's not an afterthought at Snowflake. And today, as a single platform and network for the world's data, Snowflake unifies governance across multiple workloads, making it easier today for you to know and control all the data through a centralized approach. And obviously, by reducing silos, Navneet very beautifully mentioned a single copy of data or a single source of truth. By reducing these various, types or data sets, for example, by merging it into a single source of truth, we're reducing the number of silos. Snowflake now makes it very easy for you than ever before to get your arms around all your data. And supported by an ecosystem of partners, customers can build and implement complete solutions with confidence to control all their data. It starts with three basic principles. One is knowing your data. Why Snowflake? Single platform for all your data. We have external tables, for example, support for external tables. We reduce silos. It's multi-cloud, multi-platform. We can use data from anywhere with secure data sharing, for example. Then we get into protecting your data. How do we actually protect the data? policy-driven security combined with very, very strong role-based access control, column-level security, secure views, data encrypted at rest as well as in flight at all points in time. In certain editions of Snowflake, customers can bring their own encryption key as well. So all of these benefits are to safely manage personal and sensitive data like PII. And finally, how do you unlock this secure data? Since we provide a single platform for all your workloads and we have created a central point for governance and the security policies, we can now do secure data sharing, or even customers potentially can monetize their data through our data exchange. Obviously, the benefits for customers: reduce silos, reducing the cost and risk of exchanging data between multiple stakeholders. And ultimately, how do you meet the compliance requirements now? Every organization today has massive compliance requirements. How do I meet now compliance requirements faster with improved confidence, which I can give to my business users?
True. So there is another hurdle that businesses are facing today. That is seasonality in demand. So we have seen during the pandemic, the OTT consumption has gone up like anything. Then gaming. Then we see e-commerce companies, the shopping spree during a particular season. So that is across industries. So when we are talking about this hurdle, particularly if we see it from the perspective of media and entertainment companies, how do you help them managing this seasonality in demand? So we have seen that for the customers, it's often a tough choice of either spending more or struggling with less. So how do you help actually your customers to deal with these kind of issues?
Fantastic question, Suma, once again. And this really boils down to our founders. The founders who founded Snowflake, they really wanted to build a solution that was purpose-built to take advantage of the public cloud. Now, this means instant scalability, near unlimited scale, elasticity, ability to scale up and scale down on demand. And these are some of the unique features of Snowflake, where customers today, exactly to your point, if you are an e-commerce company where, let's say, there is Diwali or Christmas or end of year kind of shopping surges, and you need to do a lot more data-driven decisions at that point, you can now spin up as many compute resources on Snowflake as you would like to cater to that demand for that brief period in time, maybe 15, 20, 30 days. And once that seasonality is over, you simply deprovision that and you stop paying for it. So customers truly only pay for the resources they consume with Snowflake. We're a truly consumption-based pricing. We encourage customers to only consume what they really would like to. So we don't lock in customers with large contracts and then tell them you either consume or you forfeit it. We actually tell them, design your solution with these seasonalities in mind, because you will only pay for that spike when you really need them. And at that point, because the solution is so infinitely scalable, at a click of a button, you can literally spawn as many resources as you would like.
Yeah, that's actually a challenge for even small companies. They don't want to they don't want to spend that much for when they just keeping in mind that they might have to scale up. So yeah, that's a wonderful thing that you are doing at Snowflake. So I will come to the data sharing part. So today companies recognize the value of centralizing and connecting data across their business unit, their ecosystem, and also from third parties. So while the media and advertising industry certainly gain from it, there are some situations where parties must collaborate with actually sharing the data. Now, does Snowflake allow companies to explore their data's characteristics without revealing the underlying data?
Absolutely, Soma. I mean, for example, Snowflake, because we have a single source of truth and all the data resides in a single platform, we can now truly capitalize that data. And organizations today need to be able to share up-to-date data, with their internal teams across various business units or even partners and vendors. Traditional methods of sharing data are inefficient, expensive, and inherently not secure. And ultimately, they inhibit, to your point, absolutely inhibit collaboration, where you absolutely need to do that. Snowflake is fundamentally different. Snowflake's multi-cluster shared data architecture eliminates the complexity of sharing data. I think with secure data sharing powered by SnowGrid, organizations can securely share live, ready-to-query data across multiple public clouds. We are available globally on AWS, Microsoft Azure, and GCP, and across multiple regions without even getting into ETL or extract, transform, and load. And secure data sharing, powers many things. You could enable, for example, direct shares. Today, you could be a Snowflake customer. You want to share data with other Snowflake customers. That sharing with other customers or Snowflake customers is absolutely possible. You could create things like reader accounts. You want to share data with companies who may not be today a customer of Snowflake. So we could enable reader accounts for those organizations to share data securely. You could even create a data exchange, a private data exchange, for example, to share data among various business units. So if you're a large conglomerate who's got 100, 200, group companies within your portfolio, you could create a private data exchange where companies can now share data securely within their various BUs, and only the data that you want to share, for example. And finally, we also have the data marketplace where you can discover, access, and get a lot of market data across various different, for example, weather data, could be demographic data, could be financial data, and we have a number of data providers in our data marketplace. And this really enables customers to harness the power of Snowflake at scale.
Yeah, Vimal, I would like to, elaborate a little bit on the, the way you are telling that marketplace. It allows you to, take data from other companies. So how media and entertainment companies, I mean, traditionally they are doing it in a different manner. So how, in this new digital age, how they can gain from this kind of, propositions?
Absolutely. So if you look at what Navneet presented as well, right? For example, let's talk about data clean rooms today. Now, why are data clean rooms important for advertising? I think data clean rooms today are a way for media companies to drive ad revenue by giving advertisers or brands the ability to predict the ROI of their ad spend on specific audiences before campaign launch. I think what we're looking at is more refined targeting, better attribution, and of course, lower risk. This leads to absolutely more value for advertisers and more revenue for the media companies. And in Snowflake, this is accomplished by, for example, uploading first-party data in a privacy-compliant format with audit and controls in place to securely match that data. Secondly, directly joining on first-party data without a number of middlemen who take a cut of the campaign sometimes and lessen the transparency. And finally, measuring attribution directly in the environment so privacy and compliance is met while understanding return on the ad spend. Now, how do we support data clean rooms? We enable, like I said, data sharing, offer access to data without ever moving the data. Customers today can now securely share data without the data ever leaving your own instance. We can do double blind joins, overlap or join data without sharing any underlying data. And finally, we can even do restricted queries, limit the types of queries and results generated from data belonging to another part.
Okay, we will, we would like to take some customer examples across the world because you are working with some great companies. But before that, I would like to know from you some of the, recent interesting announcement that Snowflake, have done. If you could mention about, if you want to mention about something that can help media and entertainment companies in India.
Right. So, for example, Navneet spoke about the number of media companies that we're working with. For example, let's take the idea of Disney, for example, securely sharing data across companies. What they're saying is Snowflake's data cloud allowed them to have a single source of truth. But going beyond that, it's truly like having a single copy of data. Data is secure, available, easily accessible for their partners, and they trust it to be compliant and up to date. Now, when you look at Indian customers as well, there's a lot of companies who are possibly not in the media and entertainment or advertising space today, and they're not publicly referenceable, but some of the large customers, I'm sure everybody on the call will know. Swiggy, for example, we've ordered food. So Swiggy uses Snowflake today. Logistics unicorns like Freight Tiger are using Snowflake at scale. We're looking at neobanks like Epify. You're looking at really hot startups like Khatabook, for example, are using Snowflake as well. And when you look at other companies globally, you're looking at Chipotle or PepsiCo, these are all some of our large global customers who are using Snowflake at scale. for multiple different use cases. And if I take some of the largest and the most stringent customers, regulated customers like banks and financial institutions, you have the like of Capital One Bank, who is using Snowflake at really vast scale. And you have many, many other banks, governments, financial institutions who are already customers of Snowflake globally.
Okay, I would like to quickly, take some attendees' queries. One of the question is, so which kind of customers are your major focus, SMB or big enterprise?
Great question. Both. I mean, ultimately, we want every customer, whether you're small, medium, large, it doesn't really matter. Everyone today wants to make data-driven decisions. And those are the customers we want to engage. And our business model allows us to cater to the entire segment of the customer population. It doesn't mean that a small and medium customer will not have more challenges than a large customer. It's all about, are you willing to transform your business with data at the heart of the conversation? Those are the customers we'd really like to go and help, because we do have a very compelling story to say.
Yeah, cloud has really democratized, the solutions, in a great manner. Yeah, that is the beauty of cloud. Yeah, and SaaS. Yeah. I had few queries for you. So, we were talking about the customers. So I will come to the OTT and media companies, how they are, what kind of unique challenges they are facing. Because we have seen in the last 2 years, they have seen tremendous spike in content consumption. So what kind of challenges they are facing, and also this kind of spike, how this has opened new revenue streams, created new revenue streams for them, created new opportunities for them. If you could take some examples, that would be really helpful for our attendees today to understand how Snowflake is actually helping the customers.
Absolutely. So I think a lot of this was covered by Navneet as well, with examples from NBC Universal or even Disney for that matter, on how customers are using Snowflake to solve unique data challenges, create new data streams. And this all boils down to the underlying technology and things I spoke about, like data clean rooms, for example. But if I talk about the challenges, right, if you look at what are the OTT players going through today, it is massive growth, because customers, like I said early on, are becoming cord cutters. Everyone today wants to watch movies on demand or television shows on demand. There's a huge spike as far as resource optimization and resource constraints are concerned. So customers absolutely have a huge challenge when it comes to scalability. The second is seasonality. There will be certain spikes in certain key moments, could be a cricket match, for example, or could be a new movie which is launched, which will necessitate the customers to really spawn their infrastructure to cater to that load. And when you do that, there's also an underlying need for you to really scale up even your data infrastructure, because today you really want to see how is the content which is being delivered monetized. Are my advertising revenues really getting the maximum ROI for me? Am I being super compliant with that really exponentially vast volume of data? And this really boils down to the technology, like I mentioned, across multiple different media companies, data clean rooms, a single copy of data, secure data sharing. How do I now create a way for customers to monetize that data? So all of these become extremely critical today for many OTT and media players.
Okay, I wanted to ask you about the third-party cookies, the abolition of third-party cookies. So now that we are heading for a cookie-less world. So what kind of challenges in terms of data that advertising companies are going to or are likely to face, and how Snowflake can be helpful for them?
I think great question. I did speak about it in the start, right? When you talk about third-party cookie removal from the ecosystem, I mean, traditionally, the walled gardens had been created by the giants as well. And today, they really want to create a walled garden where only they have access to that first-party data. Advertisers and brands are restricted in their ability today to access granular data or even merge it with their own sources. And obviously, privacy concerns are everywhere in every industry. And there is an incentive for large tech companies, like I said, to maintain exclusive access to first-party customer data, because the market is ridding itself of third-party cookies, right? But today, without the third-party cookies or any access to that walled gardens, the need to collaborate and share data with one another is absolutely important. So whether you are a customer who wants to share data with your partners or suppliers, or between different organizations to create a secure view for customer while maintaining privacy and the security and compliance needs, that secure data sharing is super critical in this modern age when third-party cookies are going away. And that's exactly where Snowflake comes with our platform, our ability to help customers securely share their data as well.
Okay, so would you like to explain any particular, instances, customer instances from India or abroad, what kind of challenges you have solved, and, just for the media and entertainment and advertising industry for their understanding, because traditionally they were not, particularly media and, entertainment industries, earlier they were not using that much, they were not data driven in that sense. So the scenario is changing quickly. So how do you actually do you have any specific customer example you would like to talk about here?
Absolutely. I can even talk aggregated at a media entertainment company level, where we have many customers in this segment. It's one of our most important segments globally, not just in India but globally. And there are many customers who use us for different use cases. If I take examples of OTT platforms, data is being generated at vast scales. Now, you could have a different way of monetizing that particular platform. You could be a paid tier, you could have a freemium tier, you could have a completely ad supported free tier. How do I now ensure the maximum bang for my buck as far as the ad revenue is concerned? Am I, like Navneet was mentioning, if I'm selling a shoe, it's very important for me to place an ad where there's a sports channel and possibly not a movie, for example. So those are the certain kind of things where Snowflake can really help to have very targeted focus ROI from your advertising outcomes. The second thing when we talk about is how do companies today as OTT players or aggregators negotiate best for content, because many of them license content from different content companies with very granular understanding of your customer. What is the customer viewing on my platform, for how long, what's my churn rate, for example. I have a better bargaining power when I start negotiating with my content providers. Could be media houses who give movies or television shows for that platform. And finally, how do we now securely share data in the absence of, let's say, third party, like we mentioned? Who are the key suppliers, who are the key partners we need to share data with, so we can absolutely build a view of a customer, maintaining security and compliance and all the privacy norms, but yet getting the best ROI for the organization.
Yeah, first we were talking about security and governance perspective, that we were talking about, from the global perspective. In India, do you see, any kind of trend or any kind of concern among the, customers? Because we have seen a lot of startups, they are going to, expand globally. They are planning to expand globally. From Indian customer perspective, do you want to mention something in terms of, how they are getting, aware of the privacy, security, and governance compliance? What kind of concerns do they have when you talk to customers?
Right. So look, the concerns of an Indian customer are as vast as any global customer. India today is not behind at all. It's at the cutting edge of technology. People are using technology at scale. Some of the latest, coolest tech innovations are happening in India today. And what India truly teaches any tech organization is scale. So here we are talking really vast volumes of data. Our solution needs to cope with that vast, exponentially growing data. And I think the privacy security concerns are global. It's not necessarily with India. There'll of course be certain India specific laws or legislation which we'll need to adhere to, which absolutely, from a Snowflake standpoint, we do. And any other country will have their own norms as well. It all boils down to what is the outcome the customers are trying to drive. Now, if you look at any segment, let's say financial services, it could be customer 360, it could be customers wanting to upsell or cross-sell products for their own existing customers, to create a single view of a customer, to maintain a risk profile of a customer, sentiment analysis, for example. all of these different use cases are what trends we're seeing in financial services. For example, in retail, we're looking at how do we now optimize supply chain? How do I now ensure, if it's an e-commerce company, ensuring that my demand when it comes to seasonality is met without me really spending, like you perfectly said, fixing resources for an entire 365-day period. You just pay for those spikes when you really need to spend on that spike for either Diwali or Christmas or New Year's or whatever. And finally, when you look at even the government, right, when you're looking at government who's looking to provide citizen services, how are they able to provide more efficient services? Because at the end of the day, you have so many services the government provides. A single view of a citizen, what are the different ways we can interact? So all of these things become very critical from the delivery of services concerned.
Okay, we will take up some questions from the attendees also, but before that, we have another quick poll for our attendees. We will take that. The poll will appear on your screen. You can vote. Okay, so I will just quickly look at the chat box if we have any question. We have one question. I think you have, actually answered that. But anyway, I will ask you that. Who are your major customers in India and APAC? Basically customer examples. They are.
Absolutely. So our list of customers anyway published online. We can share the links with you a little later. But some key customers of Snowflake, like I said, in India, Swiggy, for example, Freight Tiger, Epify, which is a neobank, Khata Book, Urban Company, which is one of the world's leaders in providing services for customers, India, Southeast Asia, and other places. So we have a lot of other customers who are not referenceable at this point in time because of confidentiality reasons. And we're in the process of getting a lot more customer stories out there so that more prospects or more people, I think when I saw the poll, people are working on our strategy. I think 30% of the people are working on the strategy. It'll help those people possibly get some direction on how other customers, maybe in their own industry or a similar industry, have really gone along the data journey. And these are the kind of stories we would like customers to read. So we have a lot of our win references published on our snowflake.com website. Please do, if you find time, please do go there. Not only will you find India case studies, you will find case studies for global customers across many different verticals: banking, financial services, retail, CPG, consumer products, government, for example, or media entertainment. Do take some time and read them. You might be amazed at some of the things global customers or even Indian customers are doing with Snowflake today.
So we are just at the end of our conversation today. So any last word to sum up the conversation today, and any thought you would like to share with our attendees today?
First up, Soma, thank you so much for having me as part of this panel. It was a fantastic conversation, great questions, and great questions from the audience as well. One thing I'd like to leave everyone with, the poll as well. It was very heartening. 30%, only 10% of the people really are not possibly going on that journey. 90% of the people are either on that journey or working on it or actively considering it. Now that really speaks volumes about the India market today. And when I said earlier, whether you're a small and medium business company, mid-sized, or even an extremely large company, everybody today wants to make data-driven decisions. And when it comes to data-driven decisions, you really want a platform like Snowflake where you can have data at scale in a single plane without any silos, able to securely share data across multiple different public clouds, and really be able to democratize data both internally within our organization or externally using secure data sharing, which is one of the hallmark capabilities of Snowflake.
Thank you, Vimal. Thank you for your time and explaining the Snowflake Media Data Cloud benefits. And also thank you to Navneet also, who actually took us through the demo and presentation slides, which wonderfully explained the the solutions. Yeah, thank you for taking time out, and thank you for sharing your great insights about the media and advertising and entertainment industry. Thank you everyone for joining us today. And if you want to get in touch with Snowflake executives directly after this webinar, we have provided the contact details in the chat box for your convenience. Please do share your feedback with us after this webinar. And Thank you. Thank you again for joining us today.
Thank you, Suma. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.